Tonight, the Killshaws uncovered. Out of luck.
What is this ticker tape type things across here?
And out on the streets.
People might say, oh, you bought it on yourself, but I don't bloody think so. All we did was adopt 2 children.
Plus every parent's nightmare, the daughter who vanished.
We have hope. And while there's hope, there's definitely life. So we will find her.
The stories that matter to you. Tonight with Trevor McDonald.
The Killshaws driven out, but fighting on. Good evening. When Judith and Alan Killshaw tried to adopt twins over the internet earlier this year, they became the most infamous couple in the country. They were attacked for appearing to buy the babies and criticized for everything from their lifestyle to their dress sense. Their doomed attempt at adoption has now cost them their privacy, their happiness, and last week, their home. Jonathan Maitland reports on a family struggling to cope with their notoriety.
Go home and clean my house. Clean my
Meet the
carpet, get a
Killshaws,
duster,
Judith
get a
and
good
Alan.
Hoover and
A
go
couple
through the house.
unlike any other, really.
Last comment, not doing any more for you. Get on with it yourself.
Why I married Judith is obviously a question that I frequently get asked. I think it's the fact that she stood out in the crowd, maybe.
I put an ad in the Chester Chronicle, and that's how I met him. And sounded quite interesting from the letter back, and I thought he went in the pile of yes, so that's how I met him. Maybe I should have put him in a pile of bloody no's now, I don't know.
Early this year, the Killshaws appeared on practically every TV show going, with their so-called internet twins, 6-month-old Belinda and Kimberly. If they were hoping to prove their suitability as parents, though, it didn't quite work.
Something that I noticed, I must say, Judith, the way you're holding the wee baby, I don't know which one that is, whether that's Beverly or Kimberly, but lots of people have called in saying that you should be supporting her head a little bit better. They're a bit worried about her. I just wanted to make that point. It was made by many people.
Judith Killshaw wasn't left holding the baby much longer. 3 weeks after the twins arrived in the country, social services obtained an emergency protection order, and on live TV, Belinda and Kimberly were taken into care. The Killshaws then began a very public court battle for the return of the twins. The couple became hate figures in the press, but the feeling was mutual. By now, Judith Killshaw had turned into an unguided missile.
Get out, I don't want to speak to you, get away. She's nothing but a two-faced cow. All I did was try to give 2 children a decent home.
The home the Killshaws gave Belinda and Kimberly for those 3 weeks was their 7-bedroom farmhouse in Buckley in North Wales.
I shoot you.
Sharing it with the couple's 2 sons, James and Rupert, Judith's 18-year-old daughter Kaylee, 5 dogs, 7 cats, 2 horses, and Philip the pig. But the legal fight to try and keep the twins has left the Killshaws with huge debts, and they haven't kept up their mortgage payments.
We were imagining we might have to spend probably £8,000 plus the cost of a trip to America, and that would be that. Plus, since then we've had the court case, the legal costs, everything that goes with it, the hotel bills. We never foresaw that. I mean, if we had foreseen it, if we had known, obviously we wouldn't have done it. That's not to say we don't love the twins.
If anything, their lives are going to be quite good, because they're going to probably go to a new home where they're going to get the best of everything and be protected and looked after wonderfully. My children's future is uncertain. The animals' futures are uncertain. And my future and Alan's future is uncertain.
The Killshaws' debt problems aren't just down to their legal bills, though. Thanks to his newfound notoriety, Alan's business, he's a solicitor, is struggling.
There is a second mortgage on the house, which is to do with my business. And because my business has been interrupted by the press and the publicity and an inability to work efficiently, then that overdraft has gone up, and that has also made the situation worse. One of the first things we need to do is to sue the backsides of these newspapers who have written stuff about us which has really affected our reputation.
But before any possible legal battles, there are plenty of day-to-day skirmishes to be fought on the streets of the Killshaws' hometown.
The butcher said that we don't fit in Buckley, so we should get our marching orders and go. So I shan't buy me chops from there from now on. Give me my marching orders. So now I don't walk, I march. I take no notice of that because to me that's just bad journalism. Well, this is where the Kilshaw Chic started off, from Ethel Austin's. And you can go in there and get rigged out for about a tenner. I try to carry on about my normal business, and if people stop and stare, well, that's them that's got the problem, not me. If someone shouts at you, you know, you should be shot or get out of here. I'm learning now not to answer it back with the same sort of venom.
Maybe you took care of those two lovely boys you've got instead of romancing around in front of cameras all the time, costing the people of Flintshire money.
Well,
you know,
from Flintshire?
I think you've got an awful cheek. I don't know who you think you are.
Well, who do you think you are?
I don't think... Well, I'm not doing anything like you.
No, you've just come over to me. You take care
of your children that you've got.
You've just come over to me, haven't you?
You ought to be put in jail.
No, you ought to.
No, you ought to. Why
don't
not?
You tell me to stop. You started this, but you can't back it up, can you?
To say it.
No, you don't have a right. You said that I was bringing Buckley down by filming it, but you put yourself on. Who are you anyway? Do you know my... No, you go home to your foot home. Wicked Witch of the West rode one of them.
What about you?
Well, you should should know. You should know. Where's Toto? Yeah, to you.
Things are even more tense at the Kilshaws' home. The bank have announced that it's to be repossessed. So Kaylee, Judith's 18-year-old daughter, who doesn't want to be filmed, has been looking for somewhere else to live. In keeping with family tradition, she used the internet.
Kaylee was in the office last night, looking at properties on the internet in France. She didn't lock the door properly. She put the dogs out this morning, went back to bed. The dogs got in, and they've obviously caused this scene of devastation in here. It's the final straw as far as I'm concerned, because it's interfering with my business and my job and my means of earning money. And I'm simply not any longer willing to be dominated, you know, by dogs.
He was saying, you're a and she was saying, yeah, whatever. And he had this about half full, come over and he threw it like that. Just like that. And it landed on her.
Alan was so stressed, he hit Kaylee with a pressure cooker. She retaliated by smashing a window. Both were arrested and later released. Judith, meanwhile, has other concerns.
All I want is a licence to move one pet pig, not a herd of performing giraffes.
With eviction imminent, Judith's looking for homes for her animals. The local sanctuary have agreed to take Philip the pig, but he's not happy about it.
Philip, shush. Calm down. Getting all stressed. I feel angry that the pets have got to go, because, I mean, they are pets and they've been with us a long time and they've been our babies, really. It's been their home for many years and I don't really like to do this. I find this uncomfortable. Where do you go with all these animals? It's like moving a zoo, isn't it, overnight?
Eventually, Philip the pig is persuaded to leave, albeit reluctantly, to be replaced by the bailiffs.
Hi, all right.
The final eviction notice has arrived, and so the bailiffs are changing the locks. For Judith, the realisation that the family home has now been lost is beginning to sink in.
It angers me. I mean, I'll just have to weather it and Alan will weather it. But with children and animals, it's a bit different, isn't it? And people might say, oh, you bought it on yourself, but I don't bloody think so. All we did was adopt 2 children.
As usual, the national press were there to witness the latest episode in the Kilshaw soap opera. The same national press that the couple feel are responsible for the mess they're now in. But in typical contradictory Kilshaw fashion, they still talk to them all the same.
Well, all the papers basically have had our business, they've had our dignity, they've had our reputation, we've lost our home, we've lost our animals, we've lost thousands of pounds, we've lost the children, and the only thing left is our lives.
What is this ticker tape type thing that's across here?
The Kilshaws are moving to a small house in Chester, but they won't be there for long because Judith is planning to move to a country where the adoption laws are easier so she can try again.
This is going to have to be cleaned up. I think she wants this.
If I am pushed abroad, as I see it, through lack of money, lack of home, lack of understanding, I guess, then I will do a readoption. because what we've lost is everything. So I'd like to come out of it with something and say, well, you know, I might have gone through all the crap and all the hassle, and I can prove to people that I can parent a child.
People might think it's a lot to go through to have another child, but I think we feel that unless there is some kind of redress for us in terms of what we've suffered, we have to do it.
There's me and there's Alan and there's a gap, and when the twins were here it filled that gap, and now they've gone, that gap's, it's emerged even bigger, if you like. It's like a gorge, and to bring it together, I feel like a new adoption or a surrogacy child or whatever would fill that gap.
We have not yet achieved what we set out to achieve when we adopted the twins. That leaves a bad taste in the mouth, particularly with the way we've been treated over the twins. I think, speaking personally, it's made me even more determined.
We've been down and we've been kicked in the teeth, but we still get up and fight. And sometimes people fight harder when their backs are to the wall.
No one knows if that fight will succeed or whether the Killshaws will self-destruct somewhere along the way. But what we do know is that even though they've seen the last of the couple here in North Wales, the rest of us haven't.
Jonathan Maitland reporting. The twin girls the Killshaws try to adopt are at the centre of a huge legal row in the United States between both the natural parents and the children's new foster parents. Their future is still unclear. Coming next, The Vanishing, the daughter who's disappeared without trace.
If we don't keep that hope alive, what have we got left? Are we actually searching for a body?
Welcome back. It is every parent's nightmare. Phil and Kath Kerton's daughter Louise went to spend the summer with her fiancé in the German countryside. She was due back on a ferry in July, but she never arrived home, and she is seemingly vanished without trace. Her parents don't know where she is, or even if she's alive. British police are powerless to help. Now the Kerton family want answers. We travelled with them to the scene of their daughter's disappearance.
She's full of love and compassion and sensitivity.
A lovely personality and would do anything to help anybody.
From all my inquiries, Louise struck me as being a level-headed girl. She is not prone to going off without telling everyone.
Louise was always in touch with us. She'd phone probably 7 times in 5 days of the week, you know. And she was the one of the family who always remembered anniversaries and birthdays, and if she was anywhere at all different, there'd be a postcard from her.
For Louise's mother, Kath, losing contact with her daughter is agonising.
It's like being permanently empty, as though you're completely dead inside. But we have hope, and while there's hope, there's definitely life. So we will find her.
24-year-old Louise Kerton left England on the 21st of June this year. She hasn't been seen by her family since. Louise came here to this tranquil farming village in Germany. She planned to spend a relaxing summer with her fiancé Peter Simon and his family. The couple had been together for 7 years, and although they'd holidayed together many times before, this was Louise's first visit to their Strasfeld home. She told her parents she'd be back in Kent by the end of July, but she never arrived. German police say she left Strasfeld for Dover on the 30th of July. When she didn't arrive in Dover, her family called the British police. They established she wasn't back in the UK, and the German authorities took over.
When it's overseas, we take the role of an assistant. We assist whichever investigating authority is concerned in carrying out the inquiries that they ask. In the UK, we own it, and we are in charge of all the inquiries, and we drive the inquiries to ensure that everything that can be done is done.
You just get them into a bit of a squarish...
Phil and Kath have become increasingly angry with the lack of progress by German police. Now the couple and 20 friends and family are going to Aachen, the town where their daughter's believed to have disappeared. In a bizarre twist of fate, a year ago Louise's close school friend Lucy Blackman went missing in Japan. The disappearance hit Louise hard. Lucy Blackman had been working in Tokyo as a hostess. 7 months after her disappearance, Lucy's body was discovered in a cove. She'd been murdered.
I just want to say how much my heart goes out to both of you, because I do know what you're going through.
The Kertons have reached out to Lucy's mother, Jane Blackman, for advice and support. They've shared their frustrations with her and talked through difficulties, especially those with the police.
And have they got any, I mean, have they sort of come up with any idea of whether they think, you know, she's gone missing? I mean, do they sort of...
Well, they class her as a missing person, and therefore they're treating it as a missing persons case.
Yes,
nothing else.
No.
Nothing criminal,
No.
which is... They don't say anything between. It's just a missing person, and in Germany it really is just a missing person, because it's a question of human rights that people who want to go missing can go missing if they want to.
Lucy was a statistic in Japan. It was like, oh yes, she's gone missing. And it was very frustrating trying to convey that your daughter would not disappear without letting you know, because Lucy always kept in touch, and I know that Louise was very much the same, that she kept in touch with her parents.
Aachen, Germany, and the group are ready to begin their search for Louise. Armed with posters, information leaflets and maps, they gather outside their hotel. Each has a specific area to search, and all have mobile phones should there be a sighting. The Kerton family target the railway station, the last place Louise was allegedly seen. There are no new leads from the groups on the other side of town. Undeterred, they plaster Louise's picture across the city.
There's nobody around here at the moment who can say that they've seen her. It feels as though the trail has gone very cold.
In her statement, Peter Simon's mother told German police Louise was dropped off just before the train was due to leave. She walked up to platform 8 to catch the 12:04 train to Ostend, from where she'd take the ferry home. But none of the staff can recall seeing Louise that day. The Kertons visit Aachen police. Alleged sightings of their daughter and no evidence of a crime mean the German police categorise Louise only as a missing person. Desperate for answers, they meet the officer in charge. Police won't allow us in to film. Afterwards, the Kertons are desolate.
The fact that he is saying she definitely isn't in Aachen, well, if she isn't, where is she?
Looking for Louise has taken the group from soup kitchens to railway tracks and the countryside beyond. Despite their efforts, there have been no positive sightings of her. Day 2, and the group meet for a briefing over breakfast.
There we are. Yeah, all right. Coxes. We've given you the station. That's right. Which is just along the railway line from here, the station.
As Phil sends some of the group to revisit parts of the city, he and others take a trip to Strasfeld to talk to Peter Simon and his mother, who've so far been reluctant to meet with the Kerton family.
Kath and I are not going up to the door to bang on the door. We feel that would be rather confrontational, because we've had several fruitless attempts at telephone conversations of late with Peter or his mother.
Leaving Phil and Kath on the coach, the group head to the Simons' home. When they arrive, they find the shutters down. No one is home. Another disappointment.
If you take a poster
Back in Aachen, the search goes on.
And
Can I ask what is the relationship with you?
we're just friends of the family, but her mum and dad are here.
Do you think possibly you could stick this poster in the school? And maybe, hopefully someone's maybe seen my sister and then to telephone these numbers or send an email.
With no success in Strasfeld, Phil and Kath return to Aachen. The search there draws to a close, again with no new sightings of Louise.
We have to hope that she is still in Aachen, because if we don't keep that hope alive through prayer and through support of our families, what have we got left? Are we actually searching for a body?
Exhausted, they leave the town that had once offered them so much hope. They depart no wiser, with no clear idea of what to do next.
The situation now appears to be like a great big jigsaw puzzle with lots of missing pieces. It just seems as though we're going round in circles.
The Kertons finally manage to make contact with Peter and Mrs. Simon, but their answers are of little comfort. Back at home, the family wait patiently for a call, a special call that could end 3 months of torment. It's the family's toughest day yet.
Well, today's the birthday of Marie, our youngest daughter. She's 17, and we're hoping it'd be a happy and joyful day, and that Louise would send a card or phone. She never missed communicating with Marie. They were very close, and instead of being happy, Marie's upstairs crying.
Of all my 5 children, she is the one that is most like me. Deep down, I know that there must be something wrong in that she would have got in touch.
Linda Duberly reporting. German police told us that they still regard this as a missing persons inquiry. The Kerton family are now hoping to hire a private detective to help them in the search for their daughter. And that's all we have time for this evening. Coming up on Thursday's Tonight programme, Kids and Phones.
Children are more at risk than adults. Skulls are not fully thickened, their nervous system is not fully developed, they're younger and they're likely to use mobile phones for a much longer period.
The truth about mobiles that every parent should know. That's on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Until then, goodbye and thank you for joining us.